my magical people. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a new video series I'm going to be starting on this channel. This video series is going to be titled Botany and Witchcraft. Now, before I start my series, however, I did want to do a video that was speaking on witchcraft in general, almost like an introduction to it. I want these videos to be accessible to everyone, but not everyone has a fundamental understanding of witchcraft. So hopefully this video can teach you about witchcraft and the different ways people can practice. So you'll be able to understand how botany in witchcraft is a section of witchcraft in which you can harness on your magical journey. Alright, to start, we should look at what even is witchcraft. The definition given by Wikipedia, I feel, gives you a good sense of what witchcraft is. Witchcraft is a practice of the practitioner, and the practice of the practitioner can use magical skills and abilities. These abilities can include spell work, incantations, and magical rituals. These rituals and this practice can be integrated with cultures and religion. However, it is not inherently religious. Now, this is a good distinction I would like to point out. Witchcraft is not a religion, though certain religions incorporate witchcraft as a part of their practice. But to do witchcraft, you do not have to be a part of those religions. Another thing is witchcraft, I like to believe, is being in tune with certain magics within the world, and being able to see with the magic within yourself and how that interacts with the ebb and the flow of magic surrounding you. So as I said before, witchcraft is not inherently religious, which comes to a shock for some people, because they believe things like Wicca and paganism, that's witchcraft. And you're not necessarily wrong. As I said, some religions incorporate witchcraft into their practice. It is like a religion is a bowl of beliefs and practices. And they take the pebble that is witchcraft and put it into the bowl. But witchcraft is still a pebble outside of the bowl. They're just taking it and putting it in. Wicca, as you may hear, is strongly based in witchcraft, and it is a major part of that practice. Paganism also has strong connections to witchcraft, simply because witchcraft works heavily with the idea of multiple higher beings and of multiple deities, and it is acceptant of that relationship. So this is why you see those religions having that pebble of witchcraft in their bowl. But witchcraft can be practiced completely without religion. For example, you can be an atheist witch. You could be a Christian witch. Yes, you can. Isn't that interesting? Because you can work, instead of with deities from other pantheons, you can work with the Christian pantheon, let's say. And because witchcraft, again, is not inherently religious. You can be a pagan witch, a Wiccan witch. You can be all sorts of things, as it is a practice and not a religion. Now, you may be asking, what is magic? Magic isn't exactly what you're thinking of when you think of Harry Potter, or, maybe some sort of your favorite fantasy with these grand wizards who can send lightning bolts from the sky. Not quite. Magic, in the best way I can describe it, is energy, and it is using the energy that we all are connected to and helping mold it in a way that is helpful for us. Sometimes this magic can come from higher beings. These can be deities. These can be deities from all sorts of pantheons. A pantheon is a group that is from a certain, usually, culture. For example, there's the Greek pantheon. There's the Roman pantheon. There's the Egyptian pantheon, the Celtic pantheon. There are pantheons from different cultures because those are the gods that those people worked with. Now, magic does not have to always come from a higher being. It can also come from the earth, from the universe, and through yourself. It is the understanding through witchcraft how we tap into that. And that is what becomes our practice in our way in which we tap into it. Now, there are different ways, again, as there are different practices, there are different ways in which people interact with the magic around them. And different sectors of magic people prefer. Some examples of different witches, which are another word for practitioners, is green witches, which work with botany and plants, which is what our topic for this video series is going to be. It's mostly going to be green witch adjacent. You also have sea witches, which work with the ocean, lunar witches working with the moon, crystal witches working with crystals, kitchen witches who do spell work through food and what they make. You got solitary witches who don't work in covens and work as a lone entity within their practice. You have elemental witches which work with the elements such as fire, water, air, earth, and the spirit. You have eclectic witches which are you're sort of undefined. They work in mixed practices. You have hereditary witches, where it's passed down through family and it's a practice throughout the family, and there's magic between the bloodline that has been practicing. You have head witches, which are on the hedge of the spiritual world and our world. There are plenty of types of witches, as there are plenty of types of magic and sectors of magic. And the witches that work in these magics usually are tapped in specifically to a corner of the magical world. Now, you may be wondering, how is witchcraft connected to me? For me, I would consider myself an eclectic witch. I do all sorts of practices and tap into all sorts of practices. As you're going to see in this video series, I'm going to work with green witchcraft. And then I also frequently, as you can even see, I'm wearing crystals, working with crystals. I do deity work, and my deity is heavily connected to the moon, so I work with the moon. All sorts of things, I mix it together to make my blend of how I interact with the world and its magic. And I think that this is important as we see that the world and everything surrounding us inherently is magical as long as we know how to use it. And that's what I want this video series to be about. I want it to be about learning how you can use the world around you and the environment and the plants within that environment and how to use it as a part of your practice. I also want to use this as an educational experience where you can learn about different literature, such as I have the book Green Witchcraft, speaking on that and how that is a helpful start. talking about different cultures and how plants have been important in those cultures, talking about deity work and why plants can be important to deities, all sorts of things. There is connections, the things you may already have an interest in through the botanical lens. And that's what the series is going to be about. Please do if you have any questions, put them below. I hope this helped clear some things up, and I'm willing absolutely to talk through and describe more about the world of witchcraft. And for this series, especially if you have questions in the segment of green witchcraft and botany and how it intersects with magic, that's what we're here for, to learn and to love our practice. I hope to see you soon.